Hi everyone. So Jonathan Katz says that heterosexuality, so straight people, are the idea of like straight people is considered like an invention that society kind of like created over time, and it's the general idea that being straight isn't really like natural or obvious. You know what I mean? So it's more like a default setting, kind of, that you just expect every single person to like follow. And if you, here's, and like personally speaking, I feel like this default setting does exist. Like people, they just subconsciously like expect, like, every single situation that involves a couple, they just have to be like heterosexual, like they have to be straight, which I don't necessarily think that's okay. I feel like it really should be more lenient, but that's just how it is. I feel like that definitely is true though, that does exist. And I think a good example of what I'm talking about is like if you think about movies and stuff that involve couples, and I'm talking about like like your stereotypical movie, like especially the really successful ones, those ones in particular, they almost always have like a straight couple in it as like the main couple. Like there might be like a side couple that might be not straight, but like that's rare too. Like that barely even happens. Like the expectation is that they're always straight. There's only like really one successful show, and this was like a newer show. So which the newer show is Euphoria, but that's the only real like media movie or show that I can think of that actually did become successful and the main characters were not straight. But besides that, I think like if you just think about literally every single movie that ever became successful, the couple was always straight. And so it brings the idea of like if it is true that sexual orientation is just like a social construct, because that's what Jonathan Cass was saying, that would mean like stuff like labels in the LGBT community, such as like gay, bisexual, lesbian, straight. If it is a social construct, that means like that stuff would be more lenient. And it would definitely be like it would be more lenient, and those labels probably wouldn't really exist if it is a social construct. And I think that like a good example of that is that I'm somebody who is considered bisexual, and but I have more of a preference towards women. So some might consider that as a lesbian, while others maybe not so much. But if it is a social construct, that means that those labels, they wouldn't necessarily exist. It would be more lenient, and yeah, it would be more lenient. And I think that like what else did I want to say? But like my point is that I'm trying to say is like I would definitely think that a lot of people, they tend to look at sexuality like all people act one certain way, and they're all attracted to like the same type of person. And I even though I'm in the LGBT community, that I used to think the same way too. And if it is a social construct, that would make more sense, because it would change people's perspective on how the general population likes to look at the LGBT community, and they would think of them as more diverse rather than one single like box, you know what I mean? And I think that more people should look at it that way, but that's not how it is.